Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Claire and I am the Crochet Lady. I've recently customized some crochet hooks with polymer clay, and during my TikTok lives and online I've gotten a lot of questions of where I've bought them, and I've actually customized them myself with some polymer clay. Now these two are the only ones that I've actually done, which basically makes me an expert. So I'm going to show you in this video how to achieve some personalization for your crochet hooks using polymer clay. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe. I do a lot of fun crochet content here that you don't want to miss. Now the materials that you're going to need for this project is some polymer clay. I have just gotten a really affordable polymer clay set from a craft store, and this was under $5, so you can definitely find this on the cheap. If you don't want a whole range of colors like this, you can maybe find a few more smaller packs. I found these really like 4 color packs at the craft store, at the same craft store. So if you keep your eye out, you can definitely find some smaller options if you're only wanting to do one hook and not necessarily have a whole surplus of polymer clay left over after you've done your crochet hook. Then these are actually more for you. You are also going to need a really sharp knife set. I have this little set that has interchangeable blades, but a regular box cutter will also do the trick. Lastly, you're going to need some baking paper, and this is going to be for when you put your design and your hook into the oven to bake the clay, and this provides a really nice non-stick surface for that. So highly recommend this, or if you have something else in mind, if you have a non-stick baking tray, that will also work pretty well. My top tip with working with polymer clay, especially when you are doing designs where you want the clay to stick to each other or at least make like a marble effect, you really have to make sure that you are conditioning your clay as much as you can. Now, when you open up your clay, you are going to find that it is very hard, very crumbly, and my first instinct was to add more oil to that clay because to me it was just very, very dry. Where in actual fact, you have to condition clay, meaning the plasticizers and the chemicals that make the plastic in the polymer clay more pliable, that needs to be reworked into the clay so it becomes soft again. So when you get your clay, you're going to have to really work at making sure it is soft and like a Play-Doh consistency, because at first it will be very hard because it has been standing for a while since being produced in a factory. And to help your fingers, because I used to do this with my fingers at the start and it really just used to hurt so much, I do recommend using a rolling pin, or if you do have a small round type of cylinder that you can roll over the clay, that will work really well. I personally have a clear rolling stick like this, which is for polymer clay. You can find polymer clay kits on Amazon and online. If you are customizing only one single crochet hook, I don't think it's a good investment to purchase a polymer clay molding kit or get things like this. But if you feel like you are going to be customizing 1, 2, 3 or more crochet hooks, then it is definitely worthwhile investing in a polymer clay kit, which usually comes with these little rollers. For the first design, I'm going to show you how to create a really cool psychedelic or marbly type of effect when you mix clays together. I'm going to show you how to achieve this look, and this is probably by far the easiest to do because you're squishing a whole bunch of clay together, molding it, cutting it in half, and then shaping it around your crochet hook. So I'm going to show you how to do this one first. Here I have all my clay conditioned and I rolled them into nice little balls. Once you're happy with how the colors are all kind of flowing together, then we can go ahead to the next step, which is to actually start mixing them together. Now, instead of just making this a big mush, we kind of want to make sure that we are mixing it together, but in an intentional way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our first color. We are going to roll it out into a long stick, and I'm going to be doing that to each one. All right, there's our first stick. Moving on to the second. And you're going to want to make these about the same length. So let's stretch this one out a bit. There we go. Onto our third color. And onto our last color. All right, that looks good. So we have our 4 colors here, and now we are going to put them in an order that we like. It won't really matter, but I guess if you have a preference to which color you want next to which color, now's the time to decide that. And once you have them all stuck together, we are going to start rolling it and stretching it and twisting it so that the colors start mixing. Now, you don't want to squash the design. You still want to have like cylindrical color bands in your design. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. It looks like a little marshmallow. All right, so as I am twisting, I am also pulling. So this is how long mine is now. And now is the time to fold it. I keep twisting and stretching. Now you may see that the clay starts breaking up a little bit. Just go ahead and squish the designs. It just means it's separated a bit. So the different colors need to be squashed together again. I'm going to roll it out a little bit more so it's a little bit more even. All right, and then for this bend, I'm going to be bending the ends in. From here, I'm not going to be twisting anymore. I'm just going to be rolling it so that the colors are all together, squashing it. And this is already kind of the size that I want for my hook. But if you are finding that it is a bit too thick or a bit too long, you can fold it in again. This is where your personalization comes in on how you would like it. And before we cut it, it kind of needs to be the length that you want it at, so that when we can wrap it around the hook, it's already at the size that you need it. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to measure. To me, this looks pretty good. I want a little bit of length on the end so that my yarn can move up and down. And this is a good thickness as well for the hook. This is a time where I'm going to now take my design and cut it in half. I have a clear board that came with my kit, but you can use a chopping board or anything like that. So I'm going to take my design and my knife. There's no wrong way to do this, but you're going to pick a side that feels good. I guess go with your gut. And we're going to start cutting just ever so gently. You want this cut to be as precise as possible. I'm going to go in all the way through the top and then keep going until I get to the bottom. And you don't want to squash your design down. You don't want to squash the clay down because that's going to make your design not look as great. And we're going to go ahead and open it up and reveal the design on the inside. So let's see. I just have a little bit more here to cut. I'm really happy with these colors. They look so good. And once we actually put it on the hook, we are going to start flattening out any imperfections and getting it really nice and symmetrical. So this next step is the final step, and we're going to take our 2 halves. This is going to be the outside of our design. So what we're going to do is we kind of want to make a sandwich of our hook. So I'm going to place this with the design down. I'm going to place my hook and press it a little bit into the clay. Then I'm going to take my other half and I'm going to place it on top and also squish that down. Then I'm going to gently lift it up and start closing these lines on the end so it looks like it's been stuck back together. And because this is really like clay putty, it's going to mold pretty easily, especially because we have taken the time to condition it. Do be careful that if when you are rolling your clay out, once your hook is inside, don't apply too much pressure, because what will start happening is the hook inside will also start hollowing out the middle and your hook won't be securely into your design anymore. So what we're going to do is just very gently, almost no pressure at all, roll your design out so it becomes more symmetrical. You can see there's a line left over from where we joined the sandwich together, and I'm going to show you really quickly on how you can get those away. Now, because this is moldable plastic, you can actually take your finger and rub over that area, and the heat from your fingers will actually merge those pieces together. And once you rub it, add a little bit of pressure, it's going to go away. And you can do this for any imperfections that are on the surface, any type of air bubbles or anything that you have. Just rub your warm hands over the clay and you will get those imperfections away. Now this hook is ready to bake so that the oils in the plastic polymer clay can actually dry out and it can harden. But before we do that, we need to etch or somehow mark what size this hook is. There we go, it says 4.5. I'm going to put this design on my baking sheet, and once we've finished all the designs, we can bake them all together. The next design that I'm going to show you is inspired by this really cute, relatively plain handle with little decals or shapes on it. So I'm going to try and achieve something similar to this with a different pattern so that you can try maybe have a clearer background with some details on top, and it has a little bit of a 3D effect, which is also really cool. So right here I have my next color, which is blue, and I am going to be putting it on my hook. Before I put any of my decals or anything on, because this is going to be a plain background, we can just condition the clay, flatten it out how thick we want it or how wide we want it, and then we can immediately put it on our hook and start molding it, shaping it, and flattening it out. Alright, I'm pretty happy with the shape and the smoothness of this. Now I can go ahead and make the little decals that I want to go on top of this design. I'm going to be making little eggs, little fried eggs. So what I've done is I have my yellow for the yolk and I have my white base, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out little egg shape . to take our little eggs and we're going to place them. And just gently, without squashing the design too much, we are going to place them all over our hook. Here we have our fried eggs on a blue background. Very random. I will go ahead now and etch in the hook size number, which was a 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and place it on the baking sheet next to our previous design, and they can bake together. So for the Christmas design, I am going to do a classic candy cane pattern, and I've also chosen a red hook, which actually just happens to be my most used 4mm hook. So I'm excited to get this one customized. For this, I'm going to be using white and red. We're going to put them together and we're going to make a long rope. And once we have our long rope, we can start twisting it and wrapping it around our hook, which is a little bit different to what we've been doing so far. So here we have a long rope, and what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start twisting it. And as I'm twisting it, I'm stretching it slightly so that it gets a little longer as we go. And how much you want to twist it is completely up to you. You can have just a subtle one spiral twist. You can have a very thin lined twist. It is completely up to you. So I'm going to do my initial twist so that the lines are quite thick, and then go back and do a secondary twist. Right, I'm going to give it a little flatten just so that they're all the same thickness. So mine has definitely gotten longer, but I think I'm going to need a little bit more length to it to completely wrap around the entire hook. So I'm going to go over once more, twisting again and stretching slightly. I think that looks really cute. That looks like a Christmas rope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the ends over here because there's mostly white on this end, just to kind of have it a little bit more symmetrical on the ends. And then we can start wrapping it around our hook. So here I have my hook, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it from the top all the way down. The reason why I'm wrapping from the top to the bottom is because there may be some excess and it's easier to hide that or make it a bit more of a seamless look when it ends here in the middle of the hook versus at the top of the hook. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to just ever so slightly make an indent into the top to help us get a little bit more grip on there as we're wrapping. We're going to slowly twist and wrap this candy cane design around our hook. We're going to push ever so slightly as we turn, just to make sure that the hook is being embedded in the clay and it will actually be secured. That's probably as much as I want to use for this. I'm going to go ahead and make a clean cut, and then once we get into this, we can actually just ever so gently tuck this. My camera cut me off, so what I wanted to show you was how you can easily tuck in the end. And what I went ahead and did is I made a very small, thinner version of the thicker design. So basically I kept on twisting and stretching, twisting and stretching, and I made a little number 4, which is this hook size, and I think it is a neat little touch that you can add. Really happy with all 3 of the hooks that we did in this video, but I must admit I do have a favorite, and that is the Christmas candy cane themed hook. It is so cute, and especially with the holiday season coming up, I am obsessed. If you do make any of these hooks or use this tutorial as an inspiration to make your own designs, then please go ahead and tag me on the socials. I love to share work with my audience so they can get their own inspiration, and of course I would love to see how creative you guys are. Don't forget to subscribe because I have more tutorials and crochet related content coming your way soon.